12 News This Morning.
Entire towns in the south have been just about wiped off the map. I'm Brityne Rucker in Rolling Fork, Mississippi, where the road to recovery will be long.
Plus, why some people in Salina have changed their outside lights to green. Good morning and thanks so much for joining us. Parts of the state are preparing for another bout of snow to start off the week. Let's head over to meteorologist Jake Dunn for a look at what to expect.
Good morning, Britain. Yeah, kind of a slow impact, but once again, we're almost into April and we're still talking about wintry weather. This should be a low impact event for mainly northwest Kansas. Now, most of the state into tonight will see rain and/or rain snow mix, but northwest Kansas, we're looking at 1 to 3 inches of snow. I did make some small adjustments to the snowfall forecast you may have seen yesterday. I'll have that for you in about 10 minutes. Now, most roads are going to be wet, but there will be some slick spots, especially in the northwest corner of the state where we've got some heavier snow right now from St. Francis down towards just north of Goodland into northern portions of Sherman and southern Cheyenne County. Also getting some snow across a good chunk of Thomas County, including Colby, moving into southern Rollins County. They're south of Atwood. We go a little bit farther south. It's more very light snow for places like southern Ellis County, south and west of Hayes, La Crosse, Ness City, Larned, getting a little bit of light snow. Again, just the leading edge of our third system, kind of been lining up since late last week. And again, we'll get some impact in Wichita, but not until late this evening. Right now, 22 in Hayes, 26 in Colby. Garden City's got 29. We're also well below freezing for most of central Kansas, including 25 in Salina, 27 in Newton. But then you factor in the breeze and look at these wind chills. Newton, 17. 19 in Salina, 16 in Hayes, so bundle up. And again, it's going to be a chilly day. We'll see highs in the 30s and 40s across most of western Kansas, 40s and 50s central and east. And again, we'll have the snow and rain out west today. All of that's going to move east, though, this evening into tonight. We'll track it for you hour by hour in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Jake. We are getting a better understanding of the destruction in Mississippi over the weekend. Just take a look at these satellite images before and after that deadly tornado outbreak. You can see extensive damage across the area as the town of Rolling Fork took a direct hit. This morning, we get the latest from CBS News correspondent Christian Benavides in Mississippi.
Cleanup is underway in LaGrange, Georgia, after tornadoes tore through yesterday. Large hail and flash flooding also swept through parts of the state.
We're making sure that the citizens are taken care of.
Earlier, severe storms spawned deadly tornadoes in the Mississippi Delta, leaving a path of destruction stretching over 150 miles.
God saved my life.
While surveying what's left of his home, Rolling Fork, Mississippi City Council member Andre Williams described what it felt like inside the roar of the storm.
I was able to grab the top of the tub and pull it down over my head so when it rained and the lightning wouldn't strike me. And 5 minutes later, it was over.
This video captured strong winds ripping through a Mississippi high school. FEMA says more than 2,000 homes were either damaged or destroyed here in Rolling Fork, Mississippi. Yesterday, President Biden approved a disaster declaration authorizing federal funds for some of the hardest hit counties. The Secretary of Homeland Security and FEMA officials toured the damage in Rolling Fork yesterday with the state's governor.
The president has directed us to be here to assist the people of Mississippi.
Volunteers offering food, water, and supplies are also on the ground.
I knew that there was going to be help needed, so I got in and drove here.
The White House says more federal aid could be added as damage assessments continue. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Rolling Fork, Mississippi.
A state of emergency has also been declared in Georgia by their governor. The National Weather Service says severe thunderstorms and heavy rainfall will continue to batter parts of the southeast throughout the day. Former President Donald Trump is doubling down on what he claims is a fake investigation. He posted on his social media platform saying the cases against him are all about what he called election interference. Now Trump's attorney is maintaining his client's innocence in the probe into alleged hush money payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels.
Attorney's office regarding potential logistics of an arraignment if it gets to that point.
He's investigating a presidential candidate, not to mention former president of the United States. That has no business being litigated in a local district attorney's office.
More than 170 former prosecutors condemned efforts to intimidate the DA who's facing death threats. Back in Kansas, a group of people in Salina who struggled with addiction are finding a way to help those in need. 12 News reporter Joe Baker talked with members of the Oxford homes about the importance of a single green light.
Drug addiction, it's something Salina native Kimberly Schulte is seeing end the lives of people she knows.
Personally, I know at least 2 people in the last week that have passed away because of an overdose. And they were super young.
So to be able to possibly help those who are struggling, she couldn't say no. Members of the Oxford houses have these green porch lights to show those inside the home have the ability to administer Narcan to those in need. There are 8 Oxford houses across Salina. The houses are recovery houses for those who have recovered from alcohol and drug addiction. For Sarah Reeves and Kimberly Schulte, it's personal for them, and now they just want to give back.
I just know that coming from a place where I was endangering myself and endangering other people's lives through my drug addiction and my actions, you know, it feels really good to be able to potentially help others either get out of that life.
I think it's really cool because at one point in my life, I didn't even know there was another way of life. So to be able to come over on this side and be sober and in a recovery home and live my life and to be able to potentially help somebody else, it's life-changing.
Both say they haven't had to administer Narcan to anyone yet, but say it's a good resource to have just in case.
Keep the green light and know that it's available.
It's safe to come here, and we will help you get to where you need to go to seek medical help as well.
Because seeing the green light and taking action,
it could be the matter of life or death. You know?
In Salina, Joe Baker, 12 News.
Now, those who live in the Oxford home meet once a week to make sure everyone knows how to administer Narcan.
Well, a chilly Monday in Wichita with some rain and snow chances moving in tonight. Yeah, even in Wichita, probably going to see some snow flying while we're sleeping. Numbers starting below freezing this morning, and we're going to slowly climb through the 40s, topping out in the very low 50s today, and then we'll get a little bit of a warming trend starting tomorrow. Winter weather advisory through midnight for Goodland and Colby. St. Francis, Norton also included in that zone. That's where we're most likely going to see some slick spots like Highway 36 and then I-70. We'll get some snow elsewhere in the state, but probably little to no accumulation. We've got that snow band right now kind of hefty between St. Francis and Goodland right along and then just south of I-70 back towards places like Ness City. A lot of this on the front edge is not reaching the ground. Looks like it may start snowing in Hutch, but none of that's reaching the ground. Our activity will move in tonight. So again, around the state today, mostly looking at 40s and or lower 50s, except northwest Kansas highs today only in the 30s. Now our average high in Wichita is 63, couple of days below it, then a jump above it by Wednesday. But how about Thursday and Friday? Low to mid 70s, but there could be a price tag with that 76 on Friday. I'll explain coming up.
Thank you, Jake. Some Wichitans spent the entire day Sunday running. We'll tell you why when 12 News This Morning continues. Plus,
Homes of the future. I'm Ian Lee with how researchers are looking to save you money by making your house more efficient.
From KWCH, you're watching 12 News This Morning.
Good morning. Thanks for starting your morning with us. Here we are on a Thursday. We're talking about animal lovers out there too.
And this is a great way to start off your morning. This is to help a homeless animal in Nevada. If you help them out, you receive a bad drawing as a gift. That's right. The pitch behind a fundraiser. Actually, that's not too bad, I don't think. It's in northern Nevada, and the animal activism group is currently offering what it calls exceptionally subpar pet portraits. That's all for a $40 donation. Anyone who wants a digital portrait of their pet can go to the group's website and pay a $40 fee. Once paid, they can send the group a photo of their pet they want to be drawn. The group says it'll take about a week to get done, but one of their volunteers will send a portrait of their pet drawn by hand. Again, I don't think that's too shabby.
Yeah, look at the cat. And the dog wasn't too far off either.
Yeah.
Well, that's way better than what I could do. That is
I was going to say, yeah, if they need some help, I have been drawing exceptionally subpar pet portraits for my whole life.
I'm still on the stick figures.
Yeah, absolutely. Jake, how about you?
Yeah, no, I'm with you guys. I could sign up and do the bad pet drawing myself. Yeah.
Hey, welcome into 12 News this morning, and it is a good Friday.
You know what we're talking about this morning. This is what everybody's going to be talking
notice
about.
the
Well,
colors.
a lot of people, some people on that end probably not doing a lot of talking about.
Nope.
But now
I'm
you're on the
hopping on.
bandwagon. You're hopping on
I'm
now.
hopping on now.
Yeah.
Go
All right,
Wildcats.
welcome
EMA. Is that how
to
you say it?
EMA.
EMA. My son right now is rolling over saying,
Right.
Dad.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Hey, how's your bracket doing, by the way, too? We were talking about that earlier. Is it doing well? You were kind of up in the top there.
I'm in first place.
Are you in first place? I'm rooting for Jake Dunn.
And there's a really big prize. I'm not going to tell you what it is because our GM's awesome. But,
Yeah.
There's a lot on the line.
He gives
there's
good
a lot
stuff,
on
so
the
I
line
know it
forward.
is,
But,
too.
you know, all about K-State. I am happy for them. And now Florida
Yeah.
Atlantic's tomorrow.
They're
What do you
moving.
think, Britain?
We just got to show up and play.
Yeah.
We can't count them out. It's not an easy game.
No.
They definitely have played ball. So
From here on out,
I'm not gonna
impressed.
talk big.
no
You
game
show.
is easy game, though.
Not anymore,
Every
no.
game is one at a time. Like the
Yep.
coach always says, you have to take each one
Yep.
as you get there.
One
Stop
away
chip
from the
away.
Final Four.
And you know, I'm providing the perfect weather to watch these games.
Thank you very much,
It's going
Jake.
to be, a little icky the next few days.
12 News This Morning.
Former President Donald Trump doubling down on what he claims is a fake investigation. His new reaction still ahead for you on this Monday. Plus,
the Final Four is set. I'm Jared Hill with the upsets, the standings, and why this group of Cinderellas is making NCAA history.
good morning to you. Thanks for joining us on this Monday. We got some rain, we got some snow chances too. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
We're so close to spring.
Jake, I am looking at the silver lining. We need the moisture. I could do without the snow, though.
Yeah, I just tell you, we've got several disturbances coming through, but they just can't seem to produce much moisture. I mean, if we're going to be unsettled, we might as well get a big soaking. But once again, like the previous 2 or 3 that we've had back to late last week, we're just not going to get much moisture. And the moisture will be snow in northwest Kansas throughout the day. Southwest, north central Kansas by the end of your afternoon, a rain and snow mix. Notice nothing in the metro through 5 p.m. We won't get anything until probably 9 or 10 o'clock. We'll start off as rain in Wichita, but look at the snow off to our north and west around places like Russell, Hayes, Great Bend, and then we'll see a chance of rain or snow, maybe even all snow for a few hours late tonight, early in Tuesday, and then everything will quickly move out by 5 a.m. tomorrow. Some of you will get accumulation. I'll let you know where and how much coming up, but I will say nothing is expected in Wichita. We have seen snow most of the morning, and it continues to fall in northwest Kansas, but notice the I-70 corridor there from Goodland to Colby has dried out. Most of the snow farther north into portions of Decatur, Rollins, and Cheyenne County, or places like St. Francis, Atwood, and Oberlin. Temperatures are on their way up later this week. Big warm-up coming. Today, 52. That's 11 below normal. By Friday, though, we're up to 76. Not a record, but as we mentioned, it's hard to get a record in Wichita this time of the year. Have to get pretty warm. Around the state today, numbers going to be chilly everywhere, some more than others. Atwood only 37 and over 52 out in southwest Kansas. That's our warm place today. Ashland, 55.
Thank you, Jake.
Good news for you right now.
Absolutely. The Kansas Jayhawks, a women's basketball team, survives another day.
Go Hawks. They beat Arkansas Razorbacks in the Great 8 of the women's NIT game just yesterday. Now, this was the 3rd straight postseason game the team handled fairly easy, too, leading the Razorbacks 35-14 at one point in the second quarter. But the final score ended with 78-64, and it keeps their season going as they are one of the last teams in the country still playing.
Our team, they're just going out and having fun and being grateful for the opportunity to compete, and I think really trying to show our fan base and our administration how much they appreciate the support.
Kansas will now take on Washington, the Huskies at Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence on Wednesday at 6:30.
All right, the Final Four is set, and this year, none of the top-seeded teams will have a shot at the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. In fact, all 4 of the teams can be called Cinderellas. CBS News correspondent Jared Hill has a look at the latest from the tournament.
3 schools will be making their very first Final Four appearances this year. The first time that's happened in more than 50 years. Among the bigger upsets that set the stage, the Miami Hurricanes blew past Texas Sunday, bringing them one step closer to their very first NCAA men's basketball championship.
We had to dig deep.
Along with Miami, UConn, San Diego State, and Florida Atlantic University are all headed to the Final Four. None of them a #1 seeded team, the first time that's happened in 12 years. Also the first time in 44 years, no team higher than 4th seed has made it to the semifinals. It was a hero's welcome for the Florida Atlantic Owls, maybe the biggest underdog. The #9 seed from Boca Raton took down favorite Kansas State Saturday for their first spot in the Final Four.
These guys are a very determined, focused group, and they always want more, and they'll be ready to go.
They'll take on San Diego State after the Aztecs survived a 57-56 thriller against Creighton.
My final year, after losing last year and being able to come back this year and play against them, the Elite Eight, and beat them, it's special, you know.
UConn, after its 82-54 blowout against Gonzaga, became the only team to reach the Final Four that's been there before.
Obviously surprised by the margin of victory, but not surprised about where we're going next because, you know, this is who we've been for a large part of the season.
UConn, though, hasn't had an extended March Madness run since its 2014 national championship. Jared Hill, CBS News.
The Final Four games are scheduled for this Saturday, and you can watch those games on KWCH 12, Channel 12.
A day after his campaign kickoff in Waco, former President Donald Trump now doubling down on what he claimed is a fake investigation, posting on his social media platform saying the cases against him are all about, quote, election interference. Now Trump's attorney maintaining his client's innocence in the probe into alleged hush money payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels.
Attorney's office regarding potential logistics of an arraignment if it gets to that point.
He's investigating a presidential candidate, not to mention former president of the United States. That has no business being litigated in a local district attorney's office.
More than 170 former prosecutors condemned efforts to intimidate the DA, who is facing death threats now. Police in Louisiana say 2 officers are dead after crashing their helicopter into a sugarcane field. Police say the officers flew out early Sunday morning to help with the chase, but never came back. The helicopter's disappearance went unnoticed for several hours, but the wreckage was discovered just before 11. The National Transportation Safety Board now investigating that crash.
New this morning, scary moments aboarding Delta flight about to take off from Los Angeles. Come over to your screen, take a look at some of this video. Authorities say a passenger opened an emergency exit as the plane pushed away from the gate. That caused the plane's emergency slide to deploy. Airport police arrested the passenger, who will undergo a mental evaluation. No one was hurt, and the airline booked passengers on 2 other flights.
Homes of the future. We're going to show you how researchers are looking to save you some money by making your house more efficient. That's coming up for you on this Monday. Plus,
are you addicted to social media? You can't stop yourself from scrolling over and over again? I'm Jamie Tucker, coming up with a smartphone app that will say, hey, wait a second.
And rain and snow back in the forecast as we kick off this week. Jake Dunn joins us in just a minute with the complete details.
You're watching 12 News This Morning.